Imagine a ship adrift in the vast, unforgiving expanse of the Malacca Strait. A vessel silent, yet screaming a story of terror. This is the tale of the SS Ourang Medan, one of the most chilling and baffling maritime mysteries ever told. It's a story that begins with a desperate message, crackling over the radio waves in the dead of night. It was June 1947, or perhaps February 1948. The records are hazy, but the message itself was crystal clear in its horror. Received by multiple ships and listening posts, the SOS call was frantic. A voice, believed to be the ship's radio operator, sent out a terrifying sequence in Morse code. SOS. From SS Ourang Medan, we float. All officers, including captain, are dead. Lying in chart room and on bridge. Probably whole crew dead. This was followed by a jumble of unreadable code, and then a final, horrifying message. I die. After that, silence. The signal was traced. The American merchant ship, the Silver Star, was one of the closest vessels to the Ourang Medan's last known position. Captained by a man of resolve, the Silver Star altered its course, steaming full speed ahead on a rescue mission into the unknown. What they found would haunt them for the rest of their lives. As the Silver Star approached, the Ourang Medan loomed on the horizon. It was eerily quiet. No signs of life. No smoke from its funnel, no flags flying, no crew on deck. It was a ghost ship, drifting aimlessly with the current. The rescue crew hailed the ship repeatedly, but their calls were met with only the sound of the waves lapping against the hull. There was no other choice. A boarding party was assembled. As the first sailors from the Silver Star climbed aboard the Ourang Medan, a scene of absolute horror greeted them. The deck was littered with the bodies of the crew. They were frozen in poses of sheer terror, their faces turned towards the sky, mouths agape in a silent scream, eyes wide with a fear that transcended death itself. Even the ship's dog, a small terrier, was found dead, its teeth bared in a final, desperate snarl. The boarding party made their way through the ship, from the bridge to the engine room. Everywhere they looked, the scene was the same. The captain lay dead on the bridge. The officers were lifeless in the chart room and wheelhouse. The radio operator was slumped over his equipment, his hand still on the Morse code key. But the most disturbing part? There were no visible signs of injury on any of the bodies. No wounds, no signs of a struggle, no evidence of foul play. It was as if their very souls had been ripped from their bodies by an unseen force. The men of the Silver Star also noted an extreme bone-chilling cold in the lower cargo holds, despite the sweltering tropical heat on deck. It was a cold that felt unnatural, a cold that spoke of something deeply wrong. The captain of the Silver Star made a decision. They would tow the Ourang Medan to a nearby port to conduct a full investigation. Ropes were secured, and the slow, grim task of pulling the ghost ship began. But the Ourang Medan was not yet finished with its secrets. Shortly after the tow began, the boarding party noticed smoke billowing from deep within the ship's hull, specifically from the No. 4 cargo hold. An explosion was imminent. The crew of the Silver Star had to act fast. They severed the tow lines, scrambling to get their own ship to a safe distance. They were just in time. Moments later, the SS Ourang Medan was ripped apart by a massive explosion. The force was so powerful it lifted the entire vessel out of the water before it plunged beneath the waves, sinking into the depths of the Malacca Strait. It took everything with it: the bodies of its crew, the answers to its mystery, all swallowed by the sea. The ship and its terrible secret were gone forever. So, what happened to the crew of the Ourang Medan? This question has fueled speculation and debate for over 70 years. The story itself has become a legend, whispered among sailors, a cautionary tale of the terrors the ocean can hold. It shares a place in maritime folklore alongside other famous ghost ships like the Mary Celeste and the Flying Dutchman. Each story is unique, but they all share a common thread. A vessel found abandoned, its crew vanished or dead under inexplicable circumstances, leaving behind a puzzle with no solution. Over the years, several theories have emerged to try and explain the fate of the Ourang Medan. One of the most plausible scientific explanations involves the ship's cargo. Some researchers believe the Ourang Medan was smuggling a deadly, unregistered chemical agent. One popular theory points to a combination of potassium cyanide and nitroglycerin. Picture this: seawater leaks into the cargo hold, reacting with the potassium cyanide to produce a cloud of highly toxic hydrogen cyanide gas. This odorless, colorless gas would have quickly spread throughout the ship, asphyxiating the crew in moments. This could explain their frozen expressions of terror as they gasped for air. The nitroglycerin, being notoriously unstable, could have then been destabilized by the chemical reaction or the jostling of the ship, leading to the final, catastrophic explosion that sent the Ourang Medan to its watery grave. Another similar theory suggests the cargo was nerve gas, perhaps leftovers from World War II being secretly transported. Certain nerve agents can cause paralysis and suffocation, which aligns with the state the bodies were found in. It would explain the lack of visible injuries and the rapid death of the entire crew. But these are just theories. And for every theory, there's a counter-argument. The biggest problem with the Ourang Medan story is the lack of official records. Researchers have scoured shipping logs, insurance documents, and maritime archives, but have found no official registration for a ship named the SS Ourang Medan. Lloyd's of London, the definitive registry for ships, has no record of it. The Silver Star, the supposed rescue ship, also has logs that don't mention this dramatic encounter. This lack of evidence has led many to believe the entire story is nothing more than a fiction, a sea yarn that got out of hand. The first known accounts appeared in newspapers in the 1940s and 50s, but they are often inconsistent with different dates, locations, and details. It's possible a journalist embellished a minor incident or simply invented the story and it took on a life of its own, passed from sailor to sailor, each adding their own dramatic flair. Could it be a hoax? A piece of fantastically successful maritime folklore? It's entirely possible. The name Ourang Medan itself is interesting. In the Malay language, Ourang means man and Medan is a large city on the island of Sumatra. Man from Medan. Does this name hold a hidden clue, or is it just an exotic-sounding name chosen to make a fictional story more believable? And yet, despite the lack of official proof, the story persists. Why? Because it taps into our deepest fears of the unknown. The idea of a sudden, inexplicable death, of a force so terrifying it can freeze a scream on a person's face, is primal. The ocean is one of the last great wildernesses on our planet, a place of immense power and mystery. Stories like the Ourang Medan remind us that there are things out there we do not understand. Some have even turned to more paranormal explanations. Could the Ourang Medan have sailed into some kind of supernatural phenomenon? An encounter with something not of this world? These theories are impossible to prove, but they add to the mythos of the ship. They paint a picture of a vessel that fell victim to forces beyond our comprehension, a ghost ship in the truest sense of the word. Ultimately, we are left with a tantalizing mystery. Was the SS Ourang Medan a real ship whose crew met a horrific, scientifically explainable end due to toxic cargo? Or is it a masterful piece of fiction, a ghost story that has sailed the seas of our imagination for decades? The evidence for its existence is shaky, almost ghostly in itself, but the power of its story is undeniable. It forces us to confront the vastness of the ocean and the possibility of secrets it will never give up. The truth of the SS Ourang Medan, like the ship itself, may be lost forever, resting deep beneath the waves of the Malacca Strait, a silent, chilling monument to one of maritime history's most enduring and terrifying legends. What do you think happened? A chemical leak? A tall tale? Or something else entirely? The mystery continues, and the silent screams of the Ourang Medan's crew still echo in the annals of the unexplained. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this dive into the unknown, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more mysteries from around the world.